Welcome to the kingdom. I'm the Queenmaker, and today we are diving into a really fascinating explainer of the Kingfinity Dividend Calendar. We're looking specifically at the first full week of August 2026. That's the 3rd through the 9th. But hey, this isn't just about reading off a list of numbers. We're going to discover together why true financial clarity means separating the hard facts from the hopeful forecasts. We'll see exactly how applying premium portfolio intelligence and some real source discipline can totally transform how you understand capital allocation.
The crown does not chase noise. The crown studies structure. I absolutely love this quote from our source material because it just perfectly sets the stage for our deep dive today. As we unpack this specific week in August, we're going to learn a really vital lesson in portfolio intelligence. It is so easy to get caught up in the daily noise of the markets, right? But the real power, the real kingdom, so to speak, is built when we pause, take a breath, and genuinely study the underlying structure of our data. Okay, moving right into Section 1, the August cash flow model, strategic planning versus reality. So, to really understand where we are this week, we first need to zoom out to the macro view. The strategic model paints a highly robust picture. We're looking at an impressive €2 million portfolio thoughtfully spread out across 59 different equity positions. The estimated weighted yield, that's sitting at a very healthy 4.99%, generating just shy of €100,000 in estimated annual dividends. 99,862 euros to be exact. When you average that out, the model expects roughly 8,322 euros in steady monthly cash flow. On paper, it is a beautifully designed system.
But here is the really fascinating part about our timeline. The specific modeled estimate for the month of August is exactly 3,785 euros. Now, when you run the math on that, it's just a modest 3.8% of the estimated annual total. This brilliantly illustrates the natural seasonality of a dividend portfolio. Compared to the portfolio's average month of over 8,300 euros, August is modeled as a much quieter chamber in the cash flow cycle. It sits at about 45.5% of the average month. But you know what? A quieter month is not an irrelevant month. It's actually a test of patience, and more importantly, it's a test of honest communication about what we actually know versus what we simply expect to happen.
Which brings us to Section 2. Forecast versus confirmed reality, and the operational gap.
This highlights a massive difference between strategic design and ground-level reality. The strategic layer relies on model data and annual goals, right? It tells us how much income is fundamentally designed to be produced. But the operational layer? Well, that demands confirmed, real-world facts to make a legitimate cash flow claim. We literally need confirmed ex-dividend dates, officially declared amounts, and the exact current share counts.
So, here is the absolute crucial takeaway. The source data we're working with here is a 2025 planning model. It relies entirely on 2025 assumptions. It is explicitly not a live 2026 corporate actions feed. Because of this gap, we cannot, and frankly will not, irresponsibly guess which specific companies within those 59 positions are actually paying out this week. We simply just don't have the granular operational data for August 2026 in this specific dashboard.
Think about it. If we blindly relied on a year-old model, we'd be ignoring some massive risk signals. A stale forecast isn't going to warn you if a dividend is suddenly cut or even suspended altogether. It completely fails to account for currency exchange fluctuations, altered share counts if a position was strategically trimmed or expanded, or even fundamentally changed payment dates. This is exactly why the Crown protects trust by explicitly acknowledging the data gap rather than filling it with optimistic guesses. Absolute transparency is a core part of capital allocation discipline.
Let's look at Section 3, the 5 verification steps, also known as Treasury discipline.
So, how do we actively bridge that operational gap? Through some seriously rigorous operational work. Before a single euro of cash flow is officially recognized, it has to survive a strict gauntlet. First, we match our current holdings to official investor relations announcements. Then, we confirm the exact ex-dividend and payment dates against exchange notices. Next up, we capture the freshly declared amount in currency. After that, we apply the current share count, not last year's, the current one, and calculate tax assumptions. And finally, we log the source URL and access date to create a complete airtight audit trail. It's meticulous, for sure, but it's how real, unshakable trust is built.
Moving right along to Section 4, this week's Watchlist verdict for August 3rd through 9th, 2026.
Based on the currently unavailable evidence, this week is officially designated as a watch list. Now, I want to be crystal clear about what this actually means. It's a vital data quality checkpoint.
The model structure for August remains highly positive, but we currently have insufficient event confirmation for this specific week. A watchlist label is absolutely not a verdict of failure, it is simply a promise to closely monitor. The golden rule here is that the portfolio pays out only when officially declared events and held share counts completely support the math. No exceptions.
And finally, Section 5, the KFX Genesis launch and expanding the kingdom. You see, this strict transparency exercise isn't just about being pedantic with spreadsheets. It connects directly to a much broader vision. At the start of this reporting week, there are exactly 65 days remaining until the highly anticipated KFX Genesis launch on October 7, 2026. The calendar lesson we're going through today, this extreme discipline regarding cash flow and transparent observation, that is the very foundation of what that future launch represents.
As we get closer to that date, it is paramount to clearly define the structural reality of KFX. The source material is absolutely emphatic about regulatory transparency here. KFX is a digital community and ecosystem participation layer built around the Kingfinity vision. We've got to manage expectations perfectly. It is not equity. It is not debt. It is definitely not a dividend right or a profit-sharing claim, and it absolutely does not guarantee any return. It is purely about community participation in this highly disciplined treasury process.
Which brings us to the core Kingfinity philosophy. The portfolio pays, the community observes, the kingdom grows. This just beautifully synthesizes everything we've unpacked today. The crown isn't built in a day, you know? It's built through intense discipline, incredible patience, and transparent cash flow observation. Loyalty builds a legacy, and that legacy relies on never, ever confusing a forecasted model with confirmed operational reality.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. We've seen how rigorous this process is, how it completely refuses to claim a dividend until that 5-step verification is complete. So I ask you, are you ready to stop chasing market noise and start demanding verifiable structure in your own financial journey? Apply this premium treasury mindset to your own intelligence, demand the data, and watch your own kingdom grow. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I can't wait to explore more structured intelligence with you next time.